Alright, so I have Chloe on the table. I know she is very tiny and it is hard for you to see, but I am not sure that my computer would sit on this tub grate thing over here that used to be used for the veterinarian office that this used to be. I have my wireless mouse over here to control the computer so I don't have to leave the dog. Like I think I just told y'all, this is Chloe. She is my micro Maltese from one of my mom's previous litters. She is a year and 1 month old. I am pretty much not going to do anything real pretty with her today. I'm doing practical. She is getting ready to go up towards my mom's house to be fixed, aka, being spayed. So I'm pretty much going to use my Moser, or as some grooming professionals will actually call it what it is. It's an Arcro SE by Wald. It's a cordless, very tiny little 5-in-1 thing. It's usually, I use it to do my sanitation areas, paw pads, the stomach, the rear end, and right in between the eyes on the face. But because she is so small, however, I am going to put it on a 10, and I am going to take her body down with it, and then I have home attachments that I can slide right on top of the blade to do the face. I will also be using my curved shears, and I'll bring these up to the camera closer so you can see them towards the end. I will also be using my Kashi's blending shears. I'll be using a prickle brush, or a pin brush as some people call it. I make up my own words for my equipment. I will be spraying her down with some finishing spray. And I do not believe I will have to pluck her ears today because I just had her in for a mini groom about 2 weeks ago. So I'm going to go ahead and get started on Chloe and get her cleaned up. I will also be using a Dremel or a nail file to do her nails. You can walk through it, it's okay. We still got her in business. Mrs. C, she's runs the boarding side of things here and signs my paycheck. So she just helps me hold the dogs as like a groomer's assistant type thing, because it's literally just me and her. And we have a volunteer by the name of Patricia that comes in and helps us out sometimes too, out of the kindness of her heart.
Very precious. What's up, Miss Chloe? Mr. Quiver and Sugar. Yeah, this isn't a hot cold shake.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I like what's going on. Should I be nervous shake? But mommy's doing it. Thank goodness.
Yeah. Chloe has never been on anybody else's grooming table since she was about 6 weeks old. She has been on my grooming table every 2 weeks. And it has not been an easy journey to get her to this point. You will be able to see the pictures on Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, for her groom today. The video is being taken on the 22nd of January, which is what today is, but it may not be up on YouTube or online anywhere until later on next week, is what the goal is. Chloe's tail, I have never actually cut it. So this is all of her tail, what has grown over the last year and 1 month of her life. I do not want to trim her tail. I'm going to let it grow as long as it will. Alright, Mama. I know. I know. Doesn't have to be perfect, just practical for the moment. Because she's so small and I do not have a hydraulic table at the moment, I'm going to sit to make sure that I'm getting her sanitary areas right, to kind of get on a better level and see what I'm doing. Because even though she is not a show dog and she's pretty much just getting shaved down so it's practical for her to recover from surgery, I still want to be able to see what I'm doing so that, you know, I don't hurt her. I know, lots of flipping and flopping and turning and weird stuff going on today. I'm gonna electric jacket at home. I wasn't getting the paw pads up here. I know, Mama. I got to see the bottom of your feet. I got to see the bottoms. Alright, well, let me move on to something else. Come on.
Fast you went and right there.
Alright, let's get your tummy. I generally have a pattern that I follow with each groom, but sometimes there are certain dogs that just decide they want things done the way they want things done, and you kind of have to go over the flow. Chloe is one of those dogs. She runs my house, and when she's here, she runs the groom shop, and she makes her own rules to life. Which is fine, because I want her to express herself.
Say it too loud. Mess her up.
Alright. Flip this back along. Okay. And let's, while I'm right here, let me go ahead and get somewhere. Alright. Well, let's start with this leg since I got access to this one. Although the recommendation is every 4 to 6 weeks for grooming, and you can even push it to 8 weeks with some dogs, that doesn't mean you have to get a full groom each time. Is the reason why that is set up is to keep the dog, one, used to the routine of being on the table so that they can behave better, two, to keep the pet clean and healthy. Even though I am not a vet, I have seen a lot of things in my life of doing this, or within my career, I should say. I've seen a lot of things. And I can generally pinpoint if a dog I see has a skin thing going on. I can generally tell the parents, I've seen this before, and in my experience, it's this, this, or this, and this is what I suggest you do. If you want to follow up with a vet, or if you need to see a vet, I will let the pet owner know. With Chloe, she has allergies to grain. So she has to be on a grain-free food. I noticed that due to the fact that one day I had her in the bathtub after giving her a haircut, and I saw black spots on her skin. So I knew that was a grain allergy. And so I was able to switch her to grain-free, and she's been pretty good ever since. Although she is a Maltese, and you'll notice most white dogs, regardless if they're a Maltese, a Shih Tzu, a Poodle, just white dogs in general, have tear stains, the little brown spots in between the eyes. And I found out since I've owned her, which has made me better knowledgeable with the white-haired dogs, the majority of that discoloration comes from a chicken allergy. Although she still gets it, it is nowhere near as bad as it used to be. Now that I have her on a salmon, sweet potato, and pumpkin diet. It seems to be helping her in more than one way. What we got going on here? Which fur? Alright, we can actually take this off for a minute. I know, close. I know.
There you go, little lady.
Alright, look at Mama.
Stabbing Mama with those claws.
She can rest her paws there if she wants. I'm just trying to get this to where we can blend it really easily and it look natural. Alright, let's turn it so I can see the other side. Alright, Mama. Alright. I know, Mama. I know. Alright. If we can lift her up and spread her legs like this, that way I can get right in here in this breastplate. Alright, I'm gonna go in this armpit. Go in this armpit. I know, Mama. I'm sorry. Alright, I need to get this leg.
Get her standing or?
However,
Okay.
I just need this one out the way so I can see. It's 12. It should be 12. So. You want to go get it?
Just to be on
Call
the safe
from
side.
Cochrane, GA.
Good afternoon. You're speaking with C.A. Corker. It's one of those we don't talk, we just call you things.
If I didn't fast forward through this part and you heard the phone ring and heard her answer at Corker's, we are in the old Corker Animal Hospital building with the same phone number. Dr. Corker had to retire back in August of 2018. His health has diminished to the point where he can't work, even though he had a super amazing long career. He's just not able to keep on doing his vet work anymore. So C has been his office manager for the last 8 years, and he has given her the opportunity to run a boarding and grooming facility, which brought me into the picture for the grooming side.
Excuse me.
But until we have an official lease signed, we have to answer the phone as workers. So, even though we're advertising it as us and what we're going to be, we still have to answer the phone as workers. So if you call and it says Corker, and you answer Corkers, that's why. Alright, Mama. Mommy, let's see. Right in here. Alright, well, let's see if I can get it from the back angle. Yeah. I know, Mama. Sometimes we can construct the dog to go one way, and they will decide to go another way.
Yes. Following the instructions, they say, no,
No.
always on their list.
Oh no. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put that comb over on top of this 5-in-1 blade on my Moser, and I am going to go over the top of her head and her face in this, and then I'm going to take my scissors and do any scissor work I need to do towards her head or her body. Then I will be finishing up her groom by doing the blending shears on her head, and then we will get to toenails. I know, you're eating your own hair right now. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Mama. I generally leave her face this short just because even though she is a girl and I treat her like she's a girly girl, she runs with the boys. And she is a tom girl through and through. Alright, let me go back over here and clean up some lines.
She's already had her bath, right?
Yeah, she's already been.
That's what I thought, yeah. So let's go late.
And I decided to go ahead and get her bath out the way while we were gonna be working on food. Alright. Alright, so I'm just taking this brush and I'm just kind of brushing the hair the way it should be laying. And I'm gonna brush up. And I'm gonna grab my curved shears. And I'm just gonna trim up her brow line so that she doesn't have any weird hairs over her eyes to where she can't see. Normally, I would not take it nearly as short on her around her eyes. I like her to have like a little girly eyelash thing type going on, but because she is going in for surgery and is going to have a cone of shame on her head for about 2 weeks or so, I don't want any room for matting, and I have to do what's going to be best and easiest on her and me, because unless you were a groomer, you don't understand that groomers' dogs are not always kept up. They're not always the prettiest. A lot of times, we will just make our pets practical because we are so tired from grooming everybody else's pets that it's just, it's a lot.
Call from Khloe Love.
Good morning, you're speaking with Tia Coker.
It is afternoon. We do close in the office from 12 to 1 for lunch. If you call between those times, sometimes we will feel like answering and sometimes we will not, because we have to eat too. And as you can see, sometimes when we're supposed to be on lunch, we're not at lunch. There's a dog on the table. Most groomers do not get a lunch break, even though that it is state mandatory. Sometimes it's 6 cups of coffee and then you shove 800 calories in your mouth and it's 30 seconds flat. So, today, however, is a different day since I'm having to leave town with the girls to get fixed. I decided to work a little bit through lunch to get my dogs done, and then I'm going to take my lunch a little bit later and get ready to go out of town and then come back and leave at 3. So I will not be here all day. Alright. I'm going to brush her tail out. Make sure there's no maps or tangles. Like I said, I like her tail long. I have never cut it. I know this is not the best quality. You can't really see her. That's why I will post videos or photos of her online. And
I'm gonna go ahead and go to lunch, okay?
okay.
You alright?
Yep, I'm just gonna do her nails. Actually, if you could just hold on
Yeah.
for like 3
We're
seconds.
doing her nails, that's fine.
And let's go ahead and grind her nails.
No
Good.
problem.
Oh, let me look at them. Yeah, he's gonna need to be up. They're sharp.
Yeah, I could tell they were sharp when she
Okay.
was
Where
leaving
did I-
on you.
Did I set
Did
my
you ever-
grinder somewhere? Yeah, I guess just plug in one of those. There should be a battery plugged in over
Okay.
on the wall. Alright, this is Chloe's least favorite part of grooming, and this is why I save it for last.
Put this back.
Let me see how she does. Sometimes I can do it by myself, sometimes I can't.
No, that's fine. Trust
I put it on low just because she's so tiny. And like I said, I just had her on the table 2 weeks ago for a mini groom, so they may not be too bad. I may be able to just file these on down.
So far, she's doing very good. Compared to the first time I saw you groom her.
Yeah. Mama, hold on. Hold on. You need to file these down so you don't scratch up Granny later again. Alright, you survived. Good girl. Good girl. Last but not least, I am going to put some finishing spray on her, so she smells pretty. And I'm going to actually bring her up closer so you can see the final thing. And yeah. Look, Chloe. See, Mama just put me up. Alright. So, I left her tail long. Like I said, it's never been cut. I have never trimmed this. This is what she's been growing for the last 1.5 years. Yeah. So, now Chloe is nice and clean and trimmed and ready for surgery. thank you for that have watched. I know this is a very bad angle of me and everything going on, but we are working on it. It is a work in progress. And like, subscribe, and look at our social media, see what we're going on, and please, word of mouth. We are trying to build this business as much as possible. Y'all have a great day.